I'm almost afraid to look y'all in the face. I was supposed to go on yesterday, wasn't I? I apologize. Let me tell you, yesterday was a bit exciting. And look, I know it's the combination, I guess, of the eclipse. Then I watched the kids, right? So yesterday, 3 o'clock in the morning, I get up as usual to watch the children. So I'm watching the children, and the children are behaving noticeably different. And it was like a one of those rabbit holes that I kind of want to go down mentally. Like, do these children, my grandchildren are 1.5 and 6 months, right? So would these children have like an innate knowledge that something exciting is brewing, that something is going on, that there's a celestial type of event happening without them actually knowing that this event is happening? You know what I'm saying? Kids are smart and they are more in tune to the way that their body normally functions than we are as adults. As adults, we start to fight these things, or that our common knowledge of what the situation is kind of supersedes what's going on, just the automatic machinations of our body. But anywho, I'm saying all that to say this. All that excitement yesterday, the children behaving a little differently. We got the uh, eclipse going on. I actually lost my other contact. So look, another thing, long ass story. I'm gonna make it real short. Y'all know I got vision issues. I have been surviving for the last year and some change off of one contact lens. I have my one contact lens in, and I can halfway see, so I can present and all this. I don't have the contact anymore, so now I'm flying truly blind. Matter of fact, let me let you see what my notes look like, so that I'm able to see the notes while I'm talking to y'all. This is how big I had to make my notes. Wait a minute. And look, I still can't see them. That's pretty big. I still can't see these notes, so I'm gonna have to make it bigger. But I'm saying all that to say this: I can't see y'all, and I don't know how I'm gonna be able to do this without being able to see. Like, I can't watch and get the small, intricate details of the episodes. I cannot see in order to read my notes. I'm having trouble making thumbnails. I'm having trouble with everything. So forgive me, please, for yesterday, because I slept right through. I slept right on through the stream. I slept from, God, it had to have been, it was after 3 o'clock. And I didn't intentionally fall asleep. It was like I accidentally fell asleep, and I slept till after 11 last night. And then I fell back asleep, and I slept all the way from me waking up in that little period. I probably stayed up for an hour and a half and went back to sleep and slept clean until like 10 something this morning. So the bottom line is I suck. I was tired. The um the eclipse, the children, me not being able to see, all of that weighed very heavily upon me, and I went to sleep. So I know I'm not probably going to get anybody at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, but I got to get this review out because I do want to be on schedule. I don't want to be an episode behind. I just want to stay caught up. So with all that being said, I'm gonna go fly through unless we get anybody in the audience. I'm gonna fly through my feelings about this episode and what I hope to see. Let me remove this. What I hope to see moving forward. Okay, so This week's episode was called Under the Twin Moons. It made me think of a Prince movie, Under the Cherry Moon. I'm dating myself at this point, and I don't care. Under the Cherry Moon, I liked back then. I don't know if I'm gonna like it now because I was a huge Prince fan, so I liked it back then. But every time I think I see this, the name of this episode, I don't see Under the Twin Moons. I see Under the Cherry Moon. That has nothing to do with anything now, does it? So Under the Twin Moons was directed by Doug Arniakowski. Um, and the synopsis of the episode, you're going to hear regular noises in my background because it's early. The children are moving around, and I can't stop children from moving around. I'm not going to stop them from moving around. These babies can move. So you're going to hear a whole lot of no stop don'ts, or you might hear that in the background. Okay. So anywho, the synopsis of the episode was on Saru's last mission as Captain Burnham's number one. Yes, that's the thing. The team ventures to a seemingly abandoned planet to hunt for what might be the greatest treasure in the galaxy. So it's continuing for me, in my humble, it's continuing on the strong start from the original or the first episode of this Discovery season 5. We got a lot of action. We got also a lot of character moments. And that makes for some of the best Star Trek is the character moments and looking at how these moments with our characters fit into the overall theme of Star Trek. And one of the themes that we are seeing here, especially particularly in this episode, is second chances. We got an opportunity to meet Captain Raynor in the first episode, and he made a decision that some people are like, okay, was it really a bad decision? And the way that the writers in the series is framing it is that Raynor made a bad decision when he decided to shoot at the mountain and make the. Well, he wasn't trying to make an avalanche. He was not trying to do that. But inadvertently, he gave Maul and Locke, quote unquote, the idea to do the same thing and create the avalanche. So they created the avalanche. So now, one day later, we are seeing instant karma for Captain Raynor because he's sitting in a meeting with Admiral Vance and the president of the Federation, and he is having to answer for whether or not he was told it was a bad idea to shoot these rocks. And he's sitting there, he's taking it on the chin. They call Burnham in. Burnham is like, yeah, I told him not to, but you could tell that there's a thin blue line sort of with these two characters because she didn't want to step over that line as far as throwing him under the bus. Now, could this be Burnham looking back and reflecting on the journey that she has come through, starting off as a mutineer in the original season 1 of Star Trek Discovery and being accused of starting the war with the Klingons, and maybe she did, depends on how you look at it. But okay, she's seeing herself in Raynor, and she's not trying to be a part of the machine that like edges him out of Starfleet. She wants to give him a second chance. Unfortunately, Vance and the president of the Federation is like, well, we just gonna ask you to resign, dude. You're a relic from the era of the burn. You're more impulsive. You know, and you need to be checked in some way, shape, or form. And you know who else needs to be checked in some way, shape, or form? Burnham. Burnham has always, so again, she's seeing herself in this character. He's shown showing his usefulness, Rainer is, when he assists Tilly and Adira in finding their part of the response to basically how to help Saru and Burnham while they're down on the planet. Saru and Burnham are going down on the planet because they're still in this foot race with Maul and Locke. And this away mission is also an opportunity for us to take a couple steps back on down memory lane with Saru and Burnham to remember their journey. It did not start off as rainbows and butterflies. They had to come to trust one another again, and then from the trust, they have built this familial type relationship. And this is Saru's last away mission. So it is fitting that number one, it was action packed. We had action Saru. And then number two, that it was with Burnham. So that we do get some, let's just say goodbye. And I'm wondering, and I'm not 100% sure if there's going to be, if this is a setup for something tragic to happen to somebody else. I'm not hoping for any tragedy like that in the season, but it feels like we're setting ourselves up for something, right? But I'm not trying to get too far ahead. You know how I start going far ahead and then I get fixated on one of my theories and then I lose the plot. So I'm not going to lose the plot just yet. So second chances. Michael eventually, spoiler alert through the whole thing because I'm dropping spoilers after spoilers after spoilers, but Michael eventually gives Captain Raynor a second chance to be her first officer now that Saru is stepping aside. I guess the advice that was given to her by Saru is like, look, you need a strong second officer, somebody who is not afraid to voice a contrary opinion to you, and who you will probably respect that contrary opinion from. So she had that relationship with Saru. Saru might be able to disagree with Captain Burnham without Captain Burnham feeling some type of way about it. He's telling her, you need somebody with a stronger personality who will do the same thing. You need somebody like Book. Now look, in that instant, I know that there were people out there like, I know good and damn well they are not about to make the Book the first officer of the Discovery. And for that hot split second, I'm like, no, that's just too fucking easy. Do not do that. Because we are already seeing Book and Burnham on the outs as far as their romantic relationship, but because their romantic relationship was built on such a strong friendship, you're seeing some mature handling of the dissolution of their relationship. Does this mean that they don't get back together? I don't know what it means. But for right now, it looks like they're broken up. And it actually spoke to me when she said to Book, I don't know how to be around you right now. I don't know how to be around you anymore. They had been joined at the hip ever since she came to this time period. They've been together in some way, shape, or form. And then to have an extended amount of time where they are separated because of Book's actions from last season and him on his redemption tour, they've been apart and they made no attempts to contact one another, Book nor Burnham. So it's basically like navigating the world without one another for the first time for Burnham since she's even been in this world. She's navigating it without Book. And Book is navigating his time with Starfleet, with the Federation of Planets, without Burnham. And they need the space, they need time to grow, but does that mean that they won't ever get back together? Who knows? I had to surprise it, Win Grace, because number one, I effed up yesterday. And then number two, I just want to stay on track. I can't be behind, you know. But anywho, and I told you guys, and if you don't know, you can watch the beginning all over again about the vision thing. I'm struggling, but I'm here, and I'm gonna figure out a way to do this without my eyes. So the plot of this season is continuing to be what the prize is that I guess they're trying to find the progenitors' power, the source of their power. And whoever finds this first is in a position where they can wreak havoc on the galaxy, because we know that the progenitors seeded the galaxy with life. We learned that from the chase back in Star Trek, The Next Generation. So now we're trying to find a source of that so that people will not misuse or mishandle this power. And I still got a strong feeling that there's some Iconian shit going on here. I can't say for sure, but I feel like we're on a mission. And this mission to find the source of the progenitor's power can lead to these little side quests. And it's going to make for a more interesting season, I think, because this next week's side quest seems to be, we're not going to Beta Z. That's where Maul and Locke think they need to be headed. But Burnham and Saru discovered that we don't need to be headed to Beta Z. We need to be headed to Trill. And Trill is going to give us an opportunity to kind of wrap up things with Gray and Adira. Adira, I don't know if there's going to be a coming together of these two characters or a true life separation of these two characters, but they're heading to Trill. They're heading to Trill, and you know, as far as I can tell, Adira still has strong feelings for Gray, but that doesn't mean that they're ready to toss everything aside to make it the Gray Adira show. Wigray says we needed to be headed to Beta Z. He wants to see it, and it would be nice, but would that be following too closely? I don't know. I would like to see Beta Z. I have to think about what I was about to say, and I don't want to say that right now. So we saw connections to prior Star Trek. In fact, we can insinuate some connections. Doesn't mean that they are going to be connected into the overall story arc, but there is stuff from Star Trek past that I guess we are getting a feel of, like in the Paradise Syndrome. That that episode could be being called back to, in the Paradise Syndrome is from TOS, the original series. The preservers technology in the Paradise Syndrome can, I guess, be compared to progenitors and their ability to create life from. So that is one alternate theory besides Iconians. And you guys know I'm leaning heavily into the Iconian side of things. It made me think of the Genesis device, but the Genesis device was unsuccessful, whereas the progenitors obviously had much success with seeding the galaxy. And the Promelians, the Promelian necropolis. So we basically got this episode from a TNG episode called Booby Trap. We got the action sequences from this episode, literally from that episode. So I don't think that they would hint it that early or that soon if we were going to find out it is the Promelians. The Romulans obviously continue to work on this this issue. Hey, Norman. Hello from work. Gonna listen in, can't comment. That's fine. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad anybody is here because, like Wingrace said, I kind of had to drop in here because of the disappointment that I was yesterday. So I apologize for yesterday, y'all. And I don't know what I was saying, but we do know that there are similarities to characters or to alien races that we have seen in the past, and these little devices and technology that we've seen in the past. We getting movement on Book. We're getting something for him to do outside of being a distraction for Burnham. And that is that he has a connection to Maul. And Maul, of course, is one part of the quote unquote villain duo. I wouldn't call them villains. We'll call them antagonists. So the antagonists right now are Maul and Locke. And from what it seems, they are a romantic couple. They are basically the anti-Book and Burnham. And Book has a connection with Maul. Maul is the biological child of Cleveland Booker. Not him, but the person who he took his name from. And I'm like, okay, I had forgotten that was one of another piece of mystery surrounding Book. Is, okay, how did you get this name? Because that's a very Earth name. Where did you get this name from? And it looks like we're going to figure it out this season. And it was a mystery that I had forgotten about, like I said. And we also see Stamets. And an arc is being developed for him of Legacy. And no, not that Legacy, but Legacy. He was so hurt by the fact that they are ending the spore drive technology. The Discovery is going to be the only ship in the fleet. That was what he had to offer, at least in his mind. That is what he had to offer Starfleet, as he was something that you would remember him by. He was here because he initiated this research into making a spore drive. Well, now he's working on these clues left by Dr. Velic. And after his interaction with Fred, and then there's also his interaction with the notes of Dr. Velic, it seems like Stamets is going to get a new legacy in this season. And I'm here for it because it seems like if anybody would get the rug pulled from up under them every season, it was Stamets. It's time to put him on some type of even footing with everybody else in the Federation. Everybody else in this series, all of the other main characters have seen success in one spot or another. And with Stamets, it's like they continuously pull the rug from up under him. And, he finally needs something besides Culber to, make him stand apart, at least in my opinion. What else did I have over here? So Book also made he made the notation that Maul and Locke are not violent. They are thrill seekers. And that is precisely what he and Burnham were when we first met her in the 32nd century. They're thrill-seeking couriers. They do everything big. So Book has been able to use his past as a courier to relate to Marlon Locke. And also, again, he knows who Maul is. He knows her people, as we would say. Yeah, I don't know that one, but I know they people. And you kind of start to realize that this person is, it could be reacting or acting out in a way because of their own past. I guess we're going to learn. Zora is being helpful in some cases, and I don't know if she knows she needs to stand back and let the humans or the sentient beings, not AI, if she knows that she needs to sit back and let them handle things. But she's not been stepping in as much as I would like to see Zora step in. But we know again that Stamets is finding pieces, and he found the object revealed that was revealed to be one piece of a 5-piece map that will lead to the progenitors. So we got bits of Romulan lore that we have seen from Star Trek Picard, secret doors, tunnels, the mystery box or the puzzle box, all of these things, we see that coming back. The visit to the planet of drones, again, reaches back to Star Trek, The Next Generation, the Arsenal of Freedom. And the ancient graveyard was, like I said, from the Promelians with Booby Trap. We know that Rayner is a decorated member of Starfleet because he shares the Grand Kite Order of Tactics honor, which I had only heard of in connection with James T. Kirk. He's got it too, so he's a big deal. Let me see what we got over here. Nothing. So yeah, he's kind of a big deal. I'm digging Captain Rayner. I'm digging his what he will bring to that relationship with Burnham. I like the fact that they may not see eye to eye, but then she will listen to him because he's, in effect, he's going to be her second officer or her first officer, but he's a captain. He knows the ropes. He's been around, so he's going to have an opinion, and I like that. There needs to be somebody with less of that chipper, which I'm really shocked that this crew can be as chipper as they are, being that they're displaced by 930 years. And Burnham said it, I have not disliked anybody this much for 930 years. Because now, after they came to the future, it seems like everybody was all good with one another. There's not as many disagreements. There's not, because that's all they got is each other and the people that came from the past with them. But then they're starting to integrate into this society that should be so far beyond them that they kind of are taking the back seat, even though they got the spore drive. I know I sound like I'm rambling. But they got the spore drive, which makes them the alpha ship. But I would have expected at some point, okay, and I think we were going to see it in season 3, where we're going to put some other people on this ship, some people this time period. Discovery crew caught up to where this to this time period way faster than I thought it would. Just imagine us bringing somebody from the early 19th century, early, and bringing them here right now to the 21st century. So imagine how lost they would be. And And that's not even 1,000 years. That's not 900 years. You know what I'm saying? That's just from a couple of centuries ago to now. People would be lost. And here they just came in and assimilated so great. Not mad at them, because do what you got to do. Um, the episode, this second episode, has allowed us now to introduce a little friction, it seems, into the Discovery's super happy uber cooperative world. And I like that. I like the fact that Burnham gave Rayner a second chance. I like that. I like the fact that Rayner he's not unreasonably dour. His experience with life has been during the burn. Now things have gotten better over the last couple of years for them, but for the most part, he's been in survival mode his whole life. So he's not unreasonable. He's just looking at it at the world through a different life experience than what Burnham and the members of the Discovery. And we need that. It was almost like how I felt about Shaw in Star Trek Picard. In Star Trek Picard, I won't call it a mistake, but I did rush to judgment on him, on Shaw, because I was like, I don't like this dude. But when you look at the fact that his experience has been totally different than what Picard and the crew of the Enterprise had, that means you know his reaction to things are going to be different. And that's how I'm seeing Rayner. He has lived his life through the burn. He is, but that's okay. And the reason why it's okay is because for him to even be there still, it took a lot of luck, and we know that he has both of these things. So he is going to be a welcome addition to what goes on Discovery. Let me see what Wingrave says. I cannot. It does feel like culture and technology has been pretty stagnant over those 900 years compared to what we might expect. Yeah, it's they shouldn't have been able to catch up so easy. Put it like that. If we were going to, and this is me nitpicking, and I don't have to nitpick. I don't have to. But if we were going to go 930 years into the future, things should be a little bit harder to get caught up to. It should have been more like how we saw Steve Rogers when he first came from being under the ice into 21st century America. The way the shock, he runs out, and traffic is trafficking, you know, and lights are lighting. The world looks different. And that's just Steve Rogers going from World War II. Was it World War II? Yeah, World War II until now. Technically now, right? From World War II until now. And that man came outside and he couldn't believe it. That's what we should have seen, and we should have had some type of advancement of time where they're saying, like, you know, these two, I mean, this crew of people, yeah, it took them a year to get acclimated because they're smart people. So it's not like it's going to take forever. They're not dumb. They're smart people. So it would have taken some time to get acclimated and some time to find their way in this new society. But then they came in and they jumped in like, wow. And it doesn't seem like it's been that many months, maybe years after the burn for them to be front and center again, creme de la creme of the Federation. But if you, I guess if you are going to be great, you're going to be great no matter what time period. I could drop you anywhere on God's great earth, as Jay-Z said, and you triple your worth. Well, maybe that's the way I should be looking at it. They're tripling their worth in this whole brand new, damn near 1,000 years into the future. But anywho, what else was I gonna say? I would have had more to talk about if I would have done this yesterday, because I can't see how long I've been going. 36. Okay, I would have had far more to talk about had I did this yesterday, because I would have been feeding off of the energy of the audience, and I typically would have some people with a few things to say, and that's okay. That's my fault for falling asleep, and I got to figure out how I'm going to keep that from happening again. I don't want to fall asleep and not wake up until the next day. But anywho, what else about this episode? Was there anything else about this episode that kind of was like, you have to address this, Tasha, but it looks like you're about to forget it? Was there anything else? We saw Grudge. I hope we get some kind of answer of what Grudge really is. He continues to refer to her as the queen. And, you know, I of course I like Grudge. I named my cat after Grudge. But what is she? What is she? What is Kovich, for that matter? What are we going to find out what Kovich is? Is Kovich like Garrick? Is Kovich going to be just a man of mystery? And it's like, yeah, we know a little bit about Garrick, but we don't know how much we can actually believe of what Garrick has told us, because we got to take his word for it. And Garrick is not the most reliable narrator. So is Kovich is he going to ever be explained, or will we have to just take for granted that, look, Kovich is, we're not gonna get an answer of what Kovich does? Or do you think we're gonna get it this season? I really hope we get it this season. I really want to know what the fuck he is. Is there any character that we think is going to flip the script on us, become something that they're not? And right now, because we're being pushed with the Maul and Locke evil, I do have a strong feeling we're going to see another side of Maul and Locke. And then when Grace had reminded me that, hey, they did say that you are going to be, you know, pretty shocked when you find out who Locke is. And again, we threw our hats in the ring on the first episode for Red Directive. Like, is Locke a brain? Is he some type of shapeshifter? We noticed some shifty things going on when he took that helmet off when he was entering the ship. And that's the Romulan ship, the 800-year-old Romulan ship. He got on that ship and it looked like his face was changing. And I'm wondering, are we going to find out that he's something that we should have recognized? And we wouldn't be able to recognize it because we'd never seen a brain without the little uniform on. So are we going to get an answer to that? It's a lot. It's a lot of questions that's up in the air. When Grace says, I think we're getting something on him, but maybe not a full explanation. So Kovich is going to be somewhat explained, but they're going to still leave enough to make him a mystery. If I'm getting you, if I'm picking up what you're putting down, he's still going to be kind of mysterious, but we're going to get a little bit more of what Kovich could possibly be. I'm looking forward to finding out more about him, but I've been very intrigued by that character since we jumped into the future. Since we made it to the future, I've been very intrigued by Kovich and what he could represent. What is he representing? Um, when Grace says, I'm thinking they might be leaving something on the table since they didn't know this was the end. Yeah, and they have to kind of like force or tack on some scenes to be like, yay, it's finished, so it could be things being left on the table. I get you there as well. I want to see more from Rainer. Of course, we're going to see more from Rainer. I'm excited to see Saru and Tarina make their moves into their future. Hopefully, we see more of the other bridge crew on Discovery. It's too late probably to get a lot of backstory on them, but to get some type of knowledge of who they are and what they who they are besides just sitting on the bridge. I want to know a little bit more about the characters. Hopefully they figure out a way to work that into this season. This episode continued, on a strong start to the season. The first episode, action heavy, hit the ground running. We get introduced to our issues and our problems and our mystery. This episode stopped, even though it was still action heavy. It did stop a little while. Smelled some roses. We got some heartfelt scenes. We got some questions answered and character moments, and I love that. I love that we slowed down just enough to talk about these kinds of things. I asked a question the other day about the Ready Room. The Ready Room is going strong. I just been missing things. It's weird, truly weird, how just adding one more little person in your home can like disrupt everything as far as what the grown people had as a routine. And we added two. We added two little people. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot left as far as the rating for this episode. The last episode, I think I gave it a 4 point. What did I give it? 4.25, 4.75. I'll give this one a 4.5. This one was a pretty decent entry, even though we're like, wow, they moved really fast on Rainer. I think, again, Rainer did some shit on Sunday. On Monday, they was telling him you got to retire, and on Tuesday, now he is Burnham's first officer. So yes, things moved quickly, but it has to. We only got 10 episodes to do this in, and we are already 2 in. So hopefully now we got who? We got the people in their places. We got a little bit of an answer as to what this mystery is. We got some throwbacks, promelians, preservers, all this stuff start with the letter P. Progenitors, but I'm saying Iconians. I'm just going out, pure Iconians. I'm way out there, but everybody else started with a letter P though. Everybody else started with a letter P. So hopefully, whoever it is, whoever the progenitors or preservers or promelians, whoever these people are, I hope that it's not a letdown from, at least they ain't keep us baited for 5 or 6 episodes, and then it'll be like, oh, it's the Borg. I don't want it to be the Borg. Please, no Borg. None. We don't need no Borg. But I would like a little movement on one of these other characters. Yeah. But yeah. So next episode is called, God, what was it called? I think it was Jalal. Now I gotta go back and get the Star Trek Discovery season titles. Yeah, it's Janal. Now, I don't know if they've released a synopsis yet. I'm making sure ain't nobody saying nothing over here. But I don't know if we've released a synopsis. Let's see. I'm going to fandom. It's really hard to see. Okay, so here we are. I'm gonna I'm gonna read it. Uh, on trail, Burnham, Booker, and Culber must pass a dangerous test to prove themselves. Next clue. Adira reconnects with Gray, and Saru's first day as ambassador is complicated by his engagement to Tarina. Now, the whole idea of him taking his role as an ambassador is to continue to be close to Tarina. You mean to tell me Tarina is getting in the way? I can't wait to see that. um, now, Burnham, Booker, and Culber must pass a dangerous test to prove themselves worthy of the next clue. I can't wait to see, number one, what the next clue is, and number two, what kind of test they got to go through. Is it, what are they going to have to do to get the next clue? Oh, shoot. We knew that, of course, that if we are going to trio, Adira and Gray are going to be together. And it seems like Tilly was with Gray, or Tilly was with Adira when we saw it in the trailers, that they went to trio. I hope I'm right there. We could be wrong. I could be wrong. It seemed like Tilly was there too. So maybe Tilly goes off with Adira so that they can meet up with Gray, and then Burnham and Culber go the other way, and then you got Rayner on the ship, which makes perfect sense, by the way. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that works out. We shall see what next episode brings us. What are you guys hoping that you'll see in upcoming episodes? Not just Janal. What do you think you're going to see moving forward? Let me know in the comments. I'm not going to hold anybody up for that much longer. I thank you all for joining me. Everybody is on YouTube, but there's nobody on the other ones. Let me see what Win Grace got here. Win Grace said, is it on Trill? Because they have to speak with one that was actually alive during TNG times. I would love a Dax to show up, but that might be too fan servicey. I mean, but we do know, okay, we know of two symbionts for sure. The one that was temporarily put into Riker, and then Crusher was like, I can't go with you no more. So she had fallen in love with this trio. They moved the symbiont and put it in Riker. That the Riker version still was in love with Crusher. But anywho, it could be that one, or it could be Dax. And I would be all the way here for the fan service aspect of Dax showing up. But of course, Dax is one of my favorite characters, so I'm a bit biased. Now, there are other people who'll be like, please, it's got to be other trio in the world besides Dax in that particular trio that I was just talking about. Please go somewhere else with the trio talk. I would love to see a Dax, or I would love that some of the information that a Dax possessed had been passed on down, and this is how we get one of our answers. I would love any of that. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see. Now you just made me think of something that I hadn't thought of, and I'm like, yeah, we could get a Dax. We could, and I would be happy for it. Um, so yeah, gave you my review, how I felt about the episode. I like the episode. I like Rainer. I like his so far his energy with Burnham. I like Saru and Tarina together. I like Stamets moving on to a new legacy. I like it. I like it. I like it. And there are some people out here who are just looking for reasons to hate it. I am not that chick. I love what I'm seeing so far. I hope they do not disappoint us by trying to tweak the formula a little bit too much. Um, there was lots of news that came out on the Paramount Global front where we start talking about Paramount Global. We've done live streams where we discuss who was in the conversation for buying Paramount Global and how or who we wanted to see if based upon what we knew about each one of the entities involved in the bids for Paramount Global, it's like, which one did we want to see? And so far, it seems like it is swinging in the direction that I wanted to see it go in, and that's with Skydance. I may sit down, I'm not making no promises. I may sit down and we'll break that down a little bit more, moving into put your money where put up or shut up mode, because right now we're not in put up or shut up mode. It seems like the conversation has become a little bit more exclusive between Skydance and Paramount Global. I'm crossing my fingers there. What other conversations? Y'all know I'm still watching X-Men 97. We're going to keep those streams separate. I'm going to try to make sure that X-Men 97 has its time to shine, that Star Trek Discovery has its time to shine. Then we're getting a lot more of this type of content, and I need to know whether you guys want me to talk about it or not. Like the Acolyte is coming. Doctor Who, again, friend of the show, Clarence, friend of the show, Grace. They probably put out videos and or live streams about these types of things far more than I do. So as far as the Doctor Who thing, I'll talk about the episode, but as far as trying to dig deep, I don't have the I don't have the knowledge to dig deep on the Doctor Who stuff, but Clarence, Kyle, and gosh, what is the other one? What's his name? Clarence, Kyle. I cannot think of. I can't think of his name. They do Discussing Who over on the Discussing Network. So if you are interested in discussing Doctor Who on and going deep, the deep cuts, Lee Shackelford, that was his name. God, I could not remember his name. I should always remember his name because he is so heavily involved in the Star Trek universe. But anywho, if you want to know some good takes on Doctor Who, that is where I'm going to send you. Oh, Wingrace has something else here. Wingrace says, "Oh, imagine they do the mind thing to speak with the older Trill host, and the one they talk to find out the info is Frakes as Riker, and that's him. That's his cameo this season. We've been saying that we expect to see Jonathan Frakes come show up in Discovery season 5, and that's another great way that we can see Jonathan Frakes show up, even if it's just a, like you say, split second cameo. He don't have to be central to the episode, but he has to show up, right? He has to show up. Oh gosh, that would be another good way. I appreciate that. So yeah, Acolyte, Doctor Who. There's a show called Evil on Paramount Plus that I love. Hopefully that. And for me to get glasses, let me tell you, I told y'all my glasses probably cost about $500-$600 for glasses. For contacts, because I still have to get an eye exam too. So we talking $600 or $700 for glasses. For contacts, it it probably cost me upwards $400 to $500 to get contacts, which means I need to do something. So help me help myself, because the only way I'm making money is if people watch videos. So tell me if there are things that you want me to talk about that I'm gonna have to go a little bit harder on the videos and stuff, just to see if I can make some money to fix my vision. Because if my vision ain't fixed, I can't see jack ish. I'm really stuck, you know. I'm really stuck. So anywho, that is all I got, y'all. I don't have anything else. I'm going to see everybody hopefully here on, damn, how we gonna do this? We got to do two a week. One of them is going to be X-Men. The other one is going to be Star Trek. Maybe we'll try it the same way we did last week. Two separate streams on one day, Sunday, because today is Monday, right? And when did we do the two streams? We did the two streams. What is today? Today, Tuesday? I don't even know what day of the week it is. So Sunday, we did two streams, and it seemed to work out okay. So that's what we'll do. All right. Yeah, look at that. Saw the problem. Yay. Thanks. Thank you for being here, y'all. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Live long and prosper. Peace. And thanks for your forgiveness. I appreciate it.